Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. Throughout our time together, you've heard me share many times, with change comes challenges in terms of the weather, in terms of the body aging, and so. Hold that there. In the next 10 days, our Running from the Mind community, this is our 6th year, we have more than 108 runners, runner seekers from around North America who will be completing a half marathon. We have a group of 25 Davies in Virginia itself. They'll be running tomorrow morning. I'll be running on Sunday, October 2nd morning. On days when I'm not outside jogging, then I'll exercise using the Peloton. And recently, I had heard the instructor share, not with change comes challenges, but rather with challenge comes change. And initially when I heard this, I thought, how dare you go against my teachings? But then reflecting on this more, in the Ramayana, there's an amazing portion called Mitra Dharma, which teaches what it means to be a friend, not a fake friend, a real friend. And a real friend is one who challenges you to be better, challenges you to follow yoga. And so reflecting more again, what is Meaningful Mornings? It is a workshop, it's a community, it's our friend. Meaningful Mornings is our friend that is perpetually challenging us to be better. Yesterday, when I arrived in Portland, I spoke at the University of Portland. And the subject I spoke on was how to be successful in college and beyond, from the perspective of Hinduism. And I'd shared that success is subjective. What your success is may be different than the next person's. It definitely changes with age. What Shuka's gauge of success is different than Vyasa's gauge, which is different than Shila's gauge, which is different than my gauge. And so, being successful in an objective way is being joyful. It is those who are joyful who are successful. Because all want to be joyful. Not all want to be rich. Not all invest so much in being good looking. Look. And how does one be joyful? It is through being meaningful. So how to be successful in college and beyond? Through meaning. When we are filled with meaning, we will be filled with joy. That is success. Verses 20 and 21 describe those who have little meaning in their life. And so they follow a little means in their life. And so they have little joy, little success. This littleness is really samsara. That which is little can easily be pushed around. Shri Krishna is training us in thinking on big thinking. Chapter 9, verse 22 is explicit training on thinking on big thinking. Ujjaswami Tejo Mayananda described this verse as the verse for stress management. Now everyone's listening more carefully. Okay, let us come forward and stop eating and start listening, because we called it stress management. Don't you want independent joy more than stress management? Verse 22. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. We should just end meaningful mornings and just revel in these words without us reflecting on them and just feeling them. How many of you have heard this verse before by show of hands? We just heard it at 7:30 when we chanted it and read it. The first quarter. Mam. Mam is Shri Krishna. Chintayantaha. Chintayantaha means to think about in an important way. Right now, I'm thinking about coffee, but not in an important way. And why I'm using the word important, because we can often feel that chinta is to worry. We should not worry about Shri Krishna. He just doesn't need our worrying. Ananya, only. Na anya, there is no other. All that is important in one's life is Shri Krishna. Making this more practical, how one can live like this so that one is not just named this by their parents is when one knows there is no other means to God other than God. God is the means, God is the end. Shri Krishna is the path, Shri Krishna is the purpose. Think about that. Think about this in an important way. Only when Shri Krishna is the path and purpose is there nothing else to think about. But if I feel they're separate, do I think of the purpose? Do I think of the path? Ye janaha pari upasate. Those people who live like this, they're engaged in upasate. They're sitting near me. But the prefix pari means it's accentuated. It's accentuated, which means they're sitting very close to me. They're right beside me. If you were right beside Shri Krishna, imagine the relief. Imagine the rest. Imagine being like Prince Arjuna in chapter 18, where Shri Krishna shares, I'm done teaching, and smiles. And Prince Arjuna says, I'm done asking why. I'm done saying but. And he just follows. With this quarter, this first line, we shouldn't make a pact with ourselves, make a pact with Sri Krishna, that I will work, you will worry. I am your servant. I will just work. I will work for you. You worry about all else. I look at you, you look at the world. What work? For those in our Practices to Perfection course, we explored this yesterday. Swakarma. The responsibilities that have come into our lives specifically for us. If I was in your home right now, what you would be doing is so different than what I'm doing right now, because each of us has custom designed mornings, custom designed lives. Who is the designer? Shri Krishna. Third quarter. Tesham, those seekers, nityabhiyuktanam, they're ever immersed in me. They're sitting very near me. They're always thinking about me. All they do for me. Why? It seems like an excessive way to live. Rationally, without divinity. Or we can make this more specific. Without the Creator, there would be nothing. If there was no Creator, would there be you? If there was no divinity, would there be air, water, earth? Here's where you all say, no, there would be nothing. I'm going to say it again. Without the Creator, would you be present? No. So rationally then, all that you do should be for the Creator. All that you do should be for divinity, since they are directly the cause for us. Know them, know us. So what should us be doing? Living for them. And if you do, and this is the most impactful part of this verse, Vahamyaham, aham, Shri Krishna uses. He's used this phrase many times in these verses, I. Vahami, I will do this for you. I will lift this for you. What? Yoga. When you find it difficult to stretch, he'll help you to stretch. Yoga means that which you need to procure. Whether it's something objective like food, or something subjective like enthusiasm, he will procure it. But then all that's procured needs to be preserved. You get a passport, but then when you travel, that has to be preserved, the expiry date. You have to protect it. Shri Krishna shared, I will do that for you too. You just have to do one thing, live for me. Then I will do all else for you. That is an awesome exchange. You take one step, he takes 100. But this has to be a yoga step. More than mindful, more than intentional, a visionary step. What Puja Swami Tejo Mayananda shared with us. If you commit to a certain school, like if I commit to a college because I'm that smart or that athletic, or if you commit to a company because you have this patent or this organizational skill, then that school, that company, they take care of your yoga and kshema, correct? They give you a relocation fee. They'll send your kids to school, stuff like that. And preserving, they will do what it takes for you to continue with that school or college. They'll give you extra marks on your exams. You get to hang out with the executives. Now that's just a school, just a company. Imagine what the Creator can do for you. If you commit to the Creator will look after all that you need. There's so much more to think about this, and we'll do so more tomorrow. But here's your final reflection. The more you know about a certain article, being, or circumstance, the more you tend to have faith in that article, being, circumstance, the more you tend to depend on that. Now that Sri Krishna has taught us this, reflect on this. The fulfillment of our reflection is us to have more faith that Sri Krishna will look after. And whether we know it or not, he's looking after it anyways. Our yoga and kshema. So depend on him. Bhakti means to depend. What we are doing, we are knowing about what he will do for us. This is an amazing form of bhakti for us to depend on him. From inspiration to application. Your application yesterday was to identify the significant wants in your life that have not been fulfilled. And when you reflected on this, maybe you felt marginally frustrated or dejected, but now put in the light of this verse, if you didn't get it, then you don't need it. Close that loop. You didn't get it, you don't need it. What a simple way to live. Your application for this morning is to memorize this verse. The next time you feel stress, instead of taking the mirror out and saying, I'm good, people like me, you chant this verse. Yoga kshemam vahamyaham. He's looking after all that I need. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.